Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful lacy shell stitch. I am in the process of looking for something to pair up with these tops. Remember, I used white, yellow and green for 3 different tops. If you guys haven't yet checked out this tutorial, it's available on my YouTube channel. I'll be leaving the link on the screen so that you can go and give it a try before we get something matching for the bottom. So I am in the process of looking for something that can be paired up with all the 3 tops, and I think I'm using white. So I'm playing around with a few stitches and I want to show you how to make this beautiful lace stitch that you can use for different projects. For example, beach cover-ups, shorts, cardigans, shawls, scarves. You can literally use this stitch for anything. So I'll be teaching you the stitch first, then later on we shall learn how to make an actual garment that can match these tops. I already see this being my favorite, but let's jump into the video and learn how to make this stitch. For this project, you'll need yarn and a crochet hook. The hook that I'm using is a 4mm crochet hook, and the yarn that I'm using today is alize cotton gold. So let's start. This pattern is worked in multiples of 6 plus 9. So you're going to chain. You're going to start off with a slip knot, and you're going to chain multiples of 6 plus 9. So for my sample, I will make a total of 39 chains. So I have my 39 chains here, and that's a multiple of 6 plus 9. So you're going to go into the 9th chain from the hook with a double crochet. So you're not going to count this as a chain. So you're going to count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and into the 9th you're going to place 1 double crochet. But that's not all. You're going to go into the same exact chain and place 1 more double crochet, so that makes it 2 double crochets, and then you're going to chain 1 and 2 more double crochets into the same exact chain. So for this pattern, a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. So we just placed a shell into that chain. You're going to chain 1, skip 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, prepare for a double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th you're going to place a shell. So I told you a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets all in the same chain. So after this you're going to chain 1, skip 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th you're going to place a shell, so 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets, chain 1, skip 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th you're going to place 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets into the same chain. So that's the repeat for this row. Continue working this until you have a total of 6 chains left. Chain 1, skip 5 chains, and then a shell into the 6th, and a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets all in the same chain. So this is what we have, and we have a total of 6 chains left. You should be left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 chains. Now you're going to chain 1 and skip 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the very last one you're going to place 1 double crochet in that very last chain. So this marks the end of row 1. Let's go on to row 2. Row 2, you're going to start with a chain of 5, turn your work, and into the very first chain one space, which is this one, you're going to place 1 single crochet in there. So it will create a small loop here. Then you're going to make a chain of 2 and then go into the chain one space of the shell. Here in the middle of the shell, you're going to place a shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets in the same space. So we just placed a shell in the chain 1 space of the shell below. And then you're going to chain 2, single crochet into the next chain 1 space. So that single crochet is placed in the space between the 2 shells. So that's where we place this single crochet. You're going to chain 2, 1 shell into the chain 1 space of the next shell. So you're going to go in here and place a shell, which is 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. And you're going to chain 2, 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat this all the way across. Chain 2, 1 shell into the next shell, like that, and then you're going to chain 2, 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 2, 1 shell into the next shell, chain 2, 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 2, 1 shell into the next shell. So we are now placing 1 shell into the very last shell here, and this is what you should have. Now we're going to chain 2. After placing your last shell into the last shell here, you're going to chain 2 and go into this space with 1 single crochet, like that, and then you're going to chain 2 and you're going to go into, you see where the single crochet is placed, there is a chain below it. Now you're going to just chain 2 and go into, after skipping 1 more chain, you're going to go into the next chain with 1 double crochet. So it's like we've skipped 2 chains here at this point. There. So that's it for row 2. It's going to get easier, I promise. So let's go on to row 3. So row 3 starts with a chain of 4. Turn your work, and you're going to go into the next shell. You're going to skip over all this and go into the next shell, this very first shell with a shell, like that, and then you're going to chain 1, go into the next shell with a shell. So you skip over the chains and the single crochet stitches, and then just go into the next shell with a shell, chain 1, go into the next shell with a shell. So that is 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets all in the same shell below, chain 1, place 1 shell into the next shell, chain 1, 1 shell into the next shell, all right. So this is what we have. You're going to chain 1, and into that little loop that we created at the beginning of row 2, which is this one, you're going to go into it with 1 double crochet in there. So this marks the end of row 3. Let's go on to row 4. You're going to make a chain of 5, turn your work. You should be noticing that this is the same exact process as row 2. So row 4 is the same as row 2. So chain of 5, 1 single crochet into the very first chain 1 space to create a small loop, and then you're going to make a chain of 2, 1 shell into the next shell, chain 2, 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space, and we're going to repeat this all the way across. So chain 2, 1 shell into the next shell, chain 2, 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space, sorry. So you can see the pattern forming. Chain 2, 1 shell into the next shell, chain 2, 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space, and repeat this all the way across. So after placing your very last shell into the shell on the edge, coming towards the end of row 4, you are going to chain 2, place 1 single crochet into that space, the chain 4 space there, and then you're going to make a chain of 2, and you're going to count to the 3rd chain of the first chain 4 of the previous row. So you're going to count 1, 2, and into the 3rd chain you're going to place a double crochet there, and that marks the end of row 4. This is what you should have. Now row 5 is basically going to be row 3. It's just a 2-row repeat. So you're going to make a chain of 4, turn your work, and go into the first shell with a shell, chain 1, go into the next shell with a shell, and that's the repeat for row 4. So we're just going to keep alternating between rows 2 and 3, 2 and 3, until we get the length of the panel that we want. You can use this for lacy designs, for example, throw on cardigans, those really cute cropped cardigans. Then you can also use it for lacy designs like shorts, beach cover-ups, shawls, scarves. So there's so many possibilities of using this stitch to make very beautiful designs, and I hope in the future I will use this pattern to make something beautiful out of it. But for now, I am just teaching you the stitch. Alright, so after placing your very last shell in the last shell from the row below, you're going to chain 1 and then go into that little loop that you created on the previous row and place a double crochet. And that's it. You're going to keep alternating between the 2 rows, rows 2 and 3. I'll be leaving the timestamps behind in the description box so that you just tap on them and then it can take you back to the row that you want to repeat. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.